If you're a video creator like me, you've probably spent some time trying to find the perfect tool to plan your projects, script your videos, and organize your shot lists. For years, I was a hardcore Notion user for that because it's pretty powerful, highly customizable, and honestly, it did everything I needed, almost at least. But it's not perfect. Notion is slow, it doesn't work offline, which can actually be an issue for me, and sometimes it felt more like I was managing a database than actually creatively planning my videos. And that's when I started playing around with Craft Docs, and thanks to some big updates recently, Craft might just be the better tool for certain video creators. So in this video, I will walk you through why I switched from Notion to Craft, how I organize all my video projects despite its limitations, and what Craft could and should still improve. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Craft or Notion, it's completely independent, but we do have another sponsor today, which is Gling AI, a tool I've been using for nearly a year, which can save you many hours editing your videos. More about it a bit later in this video. For now, let's get started by comparing Notion and Craft, and then I will give you a detailed look at how I manage my video projects from start to finish. So, Notion versus Craft. First off, I have to say that Notion is hands down more powerful when it comes to customization. For example, when it comes to planning my videos in Notion, I have a shot list inside every video project, and from there they automatically sync to a centralized shot list that let me filter all the shots by location, even across multiple videos. So if I had to shoot for multiple videos at the same location, I could just open the centralized shot list and see everything I had to shoot. The same goes for tasks. Each project has its own task list, but they are also collected into a master task list that I could manage in one place, and they are automatically sorted for the upcoming days. Just to mention a few of the most powerful features here in Notion. There is a lot more, but for that stuff that I do, that are the most important ones, and also the reason why I've been stuck with Notion for such a long time. If you're interested in my full Notion workflow, you will find it in the tutorial of my Notion template, which you can purchase on my website, but the tutorial is free to watch. I will link that tutorial here in the corner and also in the description in case it's something you're interested in. But back to topic, there is also the big downside of Notion. Notion is a web app, so it's slow and it doesn't work offline. So when I was filming in the mountains or other places without internet, I couldn't access my shot list at all, and therefore I ended up printing them out because I just couldn't rely on Notion to load. It also doesn't feel very Apple native. Like, it works, but it's not that smooth, and the design feels a bit clunky compared to something like Craft. And yes, that matters to me because when I'm writing my scripts for my videos, I like to have a beautiful atmosphere for inspiration, and as I look at my screen for hours doing that, it has to be as nicely designed as possible. In Germany, we say das Auge ist mit, what means something like the eye eats as well. I think you get what I mean. Anyway, Craft on the other hand is much faster, works offline, and it's really beautifully designed. You can add headers, change fonts, tweak colors, add background images, and make everything look exactly how you want. And it's also nicely animated, so it fits perfectly into the Apple ecosystem. But so far it was quite inferior towards Notion because it lacked the organizational capabilities. So it was good for script writing, but nothing else really. But that's only been until recently, because it got a huge update with tasks and collections, which makes it a lot more functional for managing projects, including shot lists now. It's still not as powerful as Notion, but there are a few workarounds for the shortcomings that make it work really well for most YouTube videos. So let me show you how I set up my workflow in Craft Docs and how I manage all my video projects. There you will also see the workarounds. Of course, it's not as customizable as Notion, but I found a system that works pretty well and keeps everything organized. I start with a collection for all my video projects, so essentially a document called videos with a collection inside, and this collection lets me sort videos by status, number, and publishing date, so that works pretty much the same as in Notion. And now when I create a new video project, I use a video project template that I've set up that keeps everything consistent and easy to manage. As you can see, it starts with some notes at the top, which are more unique to my videos. For example, I find a note for the value of the video very important, because if you find that your video doesn't have any value for the viewer, you should probably not make it, because it might be a waste of time, you might not get many views, etc. And under that, you see a few cards to structure the planning of my videos. And the first card is for keywords. I always brainstorm keywords related to the video early on, because it helps me improve the SEO of the video. It also helps me to figure out the right angle of the video to ensure there's actual interest. And I can also just copy and paste it later to the text in YouTube when I publish the video. So it also saves me a bit of time. And the second card is for title ideas. I jot down multiple options here because titles are super important for getting clicks. Sometimes I will test different variations or write out longer titles and cut them down later. And ChatGPT, of course, also helps a bit with that. That's what the prompt is for at the very bottom. The third card is all about thumbnail ideas. For this, I will either let ChatGPT draw rough sketches, or I copy and paste thumbnails from other YouTube videos for inspiration. And then under each example, I write a note on what I would change or improve to fit my style and the specific video. And the fourth card is where I write the video outline in bullet points. This is just a rough structure of the video, like intro, key sections, and any important points I don't want to forget. And I can either end the planning there if I want to talk freely, or I can move on to the next card, which is for the script. To do so, I open a second craft window and split my screen, outline on the left, script on the right. And because that makes it easier to write the script, because I can quickly refer back to the outline while writing, so I don't forget anything and also don't have to jump between windows. But no matter if you decide to write a full script and use a teleprompter or talk freely, there is a tool that saves you a lot of time editing that after you shoot the talking head part, and that is Gling AI, the sponsor of today's video. If you're like me and you film a lot of talking head videos, you know how tedious it can be to go through all the footage just to cut out all the bad takes, silences, and filler words. But it doesn't have to be like that, because Gling AI makes this super easy. You just load your talking head footage into the app and it automatically cuts out all the bad takes, long pauses, and even those awkward ums and ums and ahs. Whatever. So instead of wasting an hour or so going through all the footage to clean it up yourself, you can quickly check everything with text-based editing, which pretty much works like editing a Word document, just easier. And once you're happy with it, you export the whole thing as an XML file and bring it into your editing software. From there, you just add B-roll and polish it up where Gling wasn't perfect, because AI is also just a human being overall, and we're not perfect. But that's not all. Gling also got a bunch of extra features. It can, for example, automatically zoom in and out on cuts to hide jump cuts, fix bad audio if your editing app doesn't support it, and even generate subtitles and chapters. And if you're working with multicam setups like overhead shots or podcast style videos, for example, with multiple camera angles, it handles that too. Best of all, it's surprisingly fast and it starts at just $10 a month. It's a no-brainer considering how much time it saves. There's also a free trial, so you can try it out yourself and see if the time savings are worth it for you. To do so, you will find a link to Gling in the description below. Now let's talk about shot listing, which is a bit trickier in Craft compared to Notion. In Notion, I used to have project-based shot lists that automatically synced with a centralized shot list, as mentioned in the beginning, that made it super easy to filter by location for multiple projects. Unfortunately, Craft doesn't have that level of integration yet, so I had to come up with a different approach. Instead of having separate shot lists for each project, I created a central shot list collection that holds all the shots for every video. So when I'm working on a specific project, I filter the list by the video's name using a relationship field. So the view only shows the shots related to that video, and that also automatically assigns the correct video to each shot when I create new ones. To do that more efficiently, I open a dual window setup again, script on the left, shot list on the right this time, and I plan all my shots directly alongside the script. This helps me visualize exactly what I need to film for each part of the video. And from there, it works pretty much like in Notion. Like I also created custom fields in the shot list for chapter type, shot style, location, and status. and I added check marks for when a shot is taken and when it's filed at the end, so I can check off a shot after shooting it and again when it's copied into the project folder, so I don't forget to copy any shots from my SD card. When I'm ready to shoot, I switch the view to filter by location and set the filter to the location I'm shooting at. This shows me all the shots I need for a specific location across multiple videos, so the same as in Notion again. That's kind of a lifesaver when I'm batch shooting in one place and want to make sure I don't miss anything. So organizational wise, you can make proper shot listing totally work in Craft now, just not as integrated as it is in Notion. The same goes for task management in Craft, which has been a nice surprise for me. I've been using it for about 2 months now, and honestly, it works really well. What's great about Craft is that you can create tasks directly in any project, just write them wherever you want, and the moment you assign a due date, they show up in the calendar view. This makes it super easy to stay on top of things because everything is connected, and you can also create tasks directly in the calendar or in the task section, which automatically adds them to the tasks inbox. However, I do prefer to add them in video projects or other documents directly to have them organized a bit better. The way it works for me is that I have the usual tasks I have to do for my video projects integrated into the video project template, so I can just assign the dates and they automatically pop up in the calendar and are sorted by day. Now, compared to Notion, it feels simpler but more intuitive because it syncs beautifully with the rest of the Craft workspace, and it might also be more beginner friendly because you don't have to set up this task management system yourself. So in my opinion, that's a huge upgrade with tasks and collections for Craft. I've been waiting for that for a long time, but that's not all. They also added another feature which might be interesting for some of you, and this is not available in Notion at all. And that feature is Whiteboards. It's still in beta, but it's already a pretty nice addition. If you've ever used tools like Millernote, you will get the idea. Like, it's a free-form space where you can arrange ideas visually, but it does have grid snapping, which I love because it helps to keep everything organized, unlike some other whiteboard apps that feel chaotic pretty quick because they don't let you line everything up nicely. I must say, I don't use it a lot, but it's pretty helpful for creative brainstorming. Like, you can create a mood board for your next travel video, for example, or if you make more complex videos, you can outline the story progression easily using such a whiteboard feature. It's still in beta, so it crashes sometimes, and I wish we had more styling options to align titles to the top, to cards, etc., but it's certainly nice to have and goes in the right direction. An older but also powerful feature is that Craft has collaboration built right in, which makes it easy to share documents with others. For example, you can send a link to a document or an invite to someone via email, and this has been especially useful for my editor because he gets access to the video project overview and the shot list, so he knows exactly what footage I captured and how it's organized. And that saves us both a ton of time because we're always on the same page, literally. So that all sounds very good, but as much as I like Craft, there are still a few things that could be improved to make it even better. The first big issue I've run into is with tasks. When I create tasks inside a video project and assign them a due date, they show up in the calendar, but instead of showing the actual video project name, it just says videos, which is the name of the main document that holds my project collection. That makes it confusing because my standard tasks are always the same, so I don't know which video the task is for unless I manually add it to the task title. Ideally, Craft would display the actual document name where the task comes from. That would save me a bit of time and feel like it should be. Right now, it definitely does not. The next one is pretty big, and that is that there is no way to easily use a whole template to create a document inside a collection. If I click add, there is only a new row added, but I can't select a page template despite having it set up under templates. Instead, it's super complicated to do. I have to go to the home folder, click templates, select the template, then I would have to go to the organize folder and drag the template into the sidebar, open the videos document, drag the new video project into the document, and from there into the collection. If you do it otherwise, it won't go in there. This is so stupid. The way it should be is that when I click the add in the collection collection, it should automatically ask for blank or template. And if I select template, it should show me all the templates I've set up to choose for the document I want to create in the new row. That's really a feature they should add ASAP, because there is no excuse to make such a simple thing that difficult. And yes, there is a way to type / into the document to add the content of a template into the doc, but that leaves out all the styling of the page itself, and I don't want to set that up every time I start a new project. So craft team, please. Would be to allow inserting a collection directly into a project template, so that this would sync with a centralized collection, what would make creating my shot list a bit quicker, because then I could also see them directly inside of a project instead of having to open the shot list page only for that. And finally, card organization in Craft could use a small upgrade. While the current cards are beautiful, they act more like links to sub-documents. It would be great if we could organize content in column layouts like it is in many other apps, because sometimes you don't want small bits of text to take up an entire row. It's not ultra important, but would make structuring documents quite a bit nicer. So overall, Notion is still the better option if you're managing complex video projects with large shot lists, task databases, and highly detailed workflows. It's perfect for big projects that need a lot of structure, but for most YouTube videos, Craft is just faster, easier to use, and way more enjoyable. It's Apple native, works offline, and helps you stay organized without getting bogged down in too many details. Plus, with a few workarounds, it can handle all your task management, shot listing, and video project planning surprisingly well. For those of you interested in switching to Craft, I will be adding my Craft Docs video projects template in the next 1 to 2 weeks to my Notion template. So if you've already purchased the Notion template, you will get the Craft version for free once it's ready. I will email you then. And of course, I will also be selling the Craft template separately for anyone new to Craft. When it's ready, I will update the description of this video here with the link. So try both tools out and let me know which one you prefer in the comments below. They both have their strengths, and it really depends on how deep you want to go with your video planning. And if you want to know my whole YouTube filmmaking process, by the way, check out this video here in the corner. There you learn more, and I would say I see you there.